What's up, Scoops? So this video is in response to this comment made by Yasmin Nimsay Matthews. I have a cousin named Nimsay. No, her name's Nimsa. Still. She'd like me to cover a cannibalism case, and seeing as we're covering Criminal Minds, there's an episode from season 3 or 4, I'll tell you right here which one it is. That episode is called Lucky. It is about a young man who killed a family member, and then he was put into an insane asylum, and then when he turned 18, by state law, they had to release him, and then he began killing women. And he started like a recipe book on how to kill them and cook them in good tasty ways. And when they finally caught him, they said the only reason why he did this was because Satan told him to, which is just an excuse. He wanted to do it because he wanted to do it, and he wanted to find somebody to blame, so he blamed Satan. Now, to correlate with a real case, the obvious answer is Jeffrey Dahmer, but we've already talked about him and that's boring. So I found a different one, which is actually kind of a really, really weird case. In 2001, a guy who everyone pretty much thought was a pretty regular guy put up an ad on a cannibalism website, like a chat room type thing. Now, there's a very clear disclaimer on the website which makes a very clear distinction between reality and fantasy. This is a place where people talk about their fantasies to eat people, and they make a very clear distinction that if you're going to move from fantasy to reality, you will face the consequences. You know, you'll be murdering someone, you will go to jail for it. That is not what this site is about. This is a place to talk about it, get it out of your system, and then go back to your regular life. It's sort of like Eminem, the rapper, how he like raps about beating his wife, but he would never actually touch her. I kind of support that. Talk about it all you want, just don't do it. So he, after 39 years of life, most of that he says that he spent fantasizing about it. He decided to cross that line from fantasy to reality. And he posted an ad saying that he wanted to find somebody who was, you know, fit and good looking to be consumed by him. And someone actually answered that ad. Blows my mind. And his name, and I'm gonna say it terribly because it's German, and the only words that I can say well in German are all swear words. His name was Burned Brandies. The man who put out the ad, his name was Armin Meiwes. Again, probably complete total mispronunciation. But Armin invited him over to his house. He arrived, they made a videotape of Burned saying that yes, this is my will, I want to be killed and consumed by Armin. So then they cut off his wee-wee and attempted to eat it together, but then they accidentally burnt it, so he fed it to his dog, and then Burned bled out in his bathtub, and then Armin ate him over the next 10 months. And at no point was anyone ever like, where'd Burned go? It wasn't even until December of 2002 when he put out a new ad describing the fact that, hey, I've already done this, I know exactly what I'm doing, I would like to consume somebody else. I don't know why he felt the need to say, oh, I've already done this, like you need a recommendation or something to eat people. Weird. He described the fact that he'd already done this, and some college student who was on the site for whatever reason found it and was like, that's not cool. So he called the police. They went to check him out, and then he was like, well, yeah, I totally ate somebody, and it was totally their will. He had the videotape and everything. But they arrested him anyway because he freaking killed and ate someone. I don't know why he didn't think that that would be an issue. Anywho, so they arrested him, and in January of 2004, he was convicted of manslaughter because there was a videotape saying, you know, that he did it. So technically they couldn't call it murder 1 or 2, so they went with manslaughter, and he was given 8 years in jail. So then the following year, he was beginning proceedings to appeal to the court to release him. And the appeals court, rather than looking at whether or not he should be in jail, they just said, I can't even believe that this court case ended the way it did. What needs to happen right now is that we need to retry this entire thing. Because Burned Brandies actually had several mental issues, and they weren't even sure if he was, you know, legally capable of giving his consent for something like this. On top of that, from the second he walked into Armin's house, he was drinking. So he was drunk and he was mentally incapacitated just because of his issues. So he was not really capable of giving permission for this act to occur at all. And on top of that, despite the fact that he kept saying, oh, I only killed him and ate him because, you know, Brandies wanted me to, the fact of the matter is that he put out the ad, which means that he wanted to do it because it was a desire in him to begin with. And then the court had him sit down with a psychiatrist, and they found that the desire to kill people and consume them was still in him. It had been with him his entire life, and it hadn't left him just because he'd already done it. So they decided that this guy should not only just be in jail for murder rather than manslaughter, he should be in jail for life because he will kill again, guaranteed. So then the second trial, he got a verdict of murder, and now he's in jail for life. And Mellowpete has asked for a picture because, you know, if you guys Google these guys, you don't know if you have the right one. So here's a picture of Armin Meiwes. The reason why I haven't included pictures on a lot of the other ones is just because, like, a lot of the other guys are kind of gross. Like, this is Arthur Shawcross. He's pretty crazy. This is the Unabomber. I couldn't find a picture of him where he didn't look completely insane. The thumbnail for the Mary video was her. Oh, and this is Robert Picton from the video yesterday. None of these guys look normal. None of these guys look okay, and I kind of didn't want you guys to have that image. But if you guys are asking to see pictures, I will show pictures from now on. Some people have already asked me about my hand. All I'm gonna say is that if you followed me on Tumblr, you'd already know what it was about. Links in the description. I'm just gonna lay that on you. Go check it out. And I'm sure you guys will be happy to note that tomorrow you will be getting the punishment video. I'll try to put it up as early as I possibly can just because I know these videos have been coming out super late / super early. I'm not going outside. I decided not to die, just to do a punishment. So my parents are okay to drive in it. I have been living in New York City and haven't had a car for 4.5 years. So I'm not completely confident in my ability to drive in that level of snow / ice. So I will be staying indoors for the punishment. But it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. I haven't shot it yet, but I'm already not happy about it. So wait for that for tomorrow. I absolutely love you guys. Please remember to like and favorite and subscribe so you can see that punishment. And I will see you tomorrow, probably vomiting. Bye guys.